Right then, Sensational Saturday here. Today's a big day where I go down and drop the sink into my beautiful countertop. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've never done this before. Put a sink into a counter, so it's a new experience for me. And I don't want to screw it up. So I'm going to take my time, measure twice, cut once, that sort of thing. The challenge I have in doing this is lining up the drain pipes underneath the sink in the cabinet so that they meet up with the new sink. If I get that wrong, I'm going to have to do some adjustments to the drain system underneath to get it to line up. So I want to try to pin it on the first try, so I don't create more work for myself, right? Scrunch has got a lunch date with her son, the prodigal son. That's what I'm gonna call him today. But she said she's gonna come down to the trailer and help out with some things. The bathroom needs to be taken apart. All the metal signage that's on the walls, all the trinkets and stuff in there need to be packaged up and put in the pile to be moved here. So she's going to work on that while I'm dealing with the sink. The lawn down there needs to be mowed, but I can't haul my tractor down there today because the trailer is currently full of stuff that I'm throwing away. That should make Scrunch happy, as a minimalist, that I found in the shop when I was transferring stuff over yesterday. As I was going through the stuff, I saw some things that I could throw in the garbage that I don't need. So the little trailer's full of that stuff to haul to work on Monday morning and throw in the dumpster. Yeah, tobacco pits. So I can't take the tractor down today and cut grass. If I need to, I can get my friend Tony across the road to come over with his little tractor and cut it for me. He's done that before. Much appreciative of it, but after all, I did give him a snowblower to use for his place. I'm kind of wishing I would have kept that, because it looks like I'm going to have this trailer through winter, and once the trailer is cleaned out after I've moved out of it, I'm going to hire the park owner to be my real estate agent and try to sell it for me. And she's going to need to be able to get in there with prospective buyers to look at the property. And having the snowblower so I could clean out the driveway, I can blow a trail to the back tiny man shop, things like that, so prospective buyers can look at this stuff, would be important. I'm not too tore up anymore about if I get stuck with the trailer through the winter, if I can't sell it, because Yahweh showed me a way to hang on to that. Not that I want to, trust me, but if I have to, hang on to it through the winter and not have it be a great big financial expenditure. Like I said before, I was dreading having to heat that place all winter long. That's a couple $100 a month for the heat bill, in addition to the 400 something a month for the rent. And one of my customers smacked me in the forehead with the obvious. Just winterize the place like it's a camper. Pump your plumbing lines full of antifreeze and your pipes won't freeze, and you don't need to run the furnace. You can leave the place deep freeze essentially, and you'll be just fine. So that's one of the missions that needs to be accomplished before temperatures dip into the single digits, so that I can turn off the furnace and the fire stove and let the place deep freeze for the winter. Yeah. So my utility bill will be under $100 easily, because all I will have consuming energy will be a couple of high efficiency LED light bulbs just for security. No furnace, no internet, no electrical consumption for appliances, things like this. So that'll be a good thing. I feel a lot better. Since I'm still pretty much a broke loser, and I don't have a dual income right now. I will when I'm married, but I don't right now. I don't have a team player essentially to help me with that expenditure. I got to do it all on my own right now. Same thing with camp. I have a major electrical problem up at camp. I don't appear to have electrical power going from the meter base down at the bottom of the hill up to the campsite. There's no electricity at camp. That electric bill will be $20 a month just for the privilege of having electricity. The utility company charges you that even if you don't use any power. I'll deal with that next year, or possibly this year. Scrunchy did say she wants to go up to camp. Maybe we can take a day trip and go up there, and I can tear into it and see if I can figure it out. I got a sneaking suspicion that the cable that goes from the meter base down at the bottom of the hill up the hill to the campsite has been broken. Whether a tree fell on it, remember, it's not buried in the ground, it's sitting on top of the ground. And if a big tree came down and landed on it, it could break the cable. If that happened, that's a shit show. I'm hoping and praying that it's a loose wire connection in the panel, the main panel down at the bottom of the hill. And all I got to do is open up that box, take a screwdriver, tighten up some connections, and bada bing, bada boom, I got power back up at the camper. That's what I'm hoping for. But worst case scenario is a tree fell down, landed on that cable, and broke the cable. And that would mean I would have to run a whole new 55-foot cable from the substation down below up to the camper box. And that's going to be expensive. And it's going to be a nightmare. Because over the years, I've had that place 20 some years. Over the years, that cable that's laying on the ground, even though it's protected in a long run of PVC pipe, has now been buried under years of leaf debris coming off the trees when the trees shed their leaves in the fall, trees coming down, logs, stuff like that. That's what I was hoping for. That would happen naturally, so that you couldn't see the cable laying on the ground. It actually buried itself. Well, if it um, if it's buried, which it is, and I got to sneak a new cable, nah. Trust me, I've already been thinking on how I would accomplish this. And to pull 55 feet of number 4 3 conductor cable, which is about that big around, through that pipe by hand, not possible. So I would have to rig something up with my Jeep and my winch on the top of the hill to pull a new cable all the way through all of that pipe from the meter base at the bottom up to the sub base at the top. And that could be very challenging. Yep. So, I don't want to worry about it now. But the good thing is there is literally no power at camp. So I'm not using electricity at camp, which means a small utility bill there as well. So I think I'll be okay on a single income, which is what I was worried about. Yeah. Yep. But anyway, today is the day. So I'm going to get my shit together here and get on the road and get down there and accomplish the challenge of today. Tomorrow, of course, is church with Scrunch. So Scrunch is coming up here tonight. She's going to follow me back up to the to the cabin here, the lake house, like we did last weekend. She's going to spend the night. Trust me, I would love to just bend her over a chair, but I can't, because I'm trying to walk the path of the straight and narrow and be pleasing in God's eyes. So that ain't gonna happen. Sucks to be me. But anyway, she's gonna spend the night. Tomorrow morning is church. And then her plan for the day is to clean my house. Yep. She's a good wife. Yep. So she's going to clean my house, vacuum, sweep, and mop the floors is her goal, while I'm doing other projects. So I will probably work on the can light. I don't know if I showed you this. Here's the one I put. Yeah, I did. I think I did. That's the one I installed down here. I'm installing the identical version of that up in the master bedroom, and eventually there'll be one installed in the guest bedroom as well. I can work on that, and I can work on burning up some of the cardboard and garbage that I have accumulated here. I can work on doing some more organizing and cleanup out in the shop. Yeah, I can cut the grass and blow the leaves. Things I can be doing while she's in here working on the house. So she's really excited about getting married. Yeah. So she said a couple of times she can't wait to be Mrs. Nelson. She didn't say this, but it'd be cool if she did. I can't wait to be your queen. She told her friend, her girlfriend, who lives down south, that we are going to have a shotgun wedding of sorts. And her friend does not approve. Of course not. That particular person is not walking with the Lord. She does not know the Bible. She does not know what the rules that God has outlined for a wife in the Bible. She doesn't know anything about it. She thinks our relationship is unhealthy, and she's advising against it, blah, blah, blah. And so she doesn't approve. But Scrunch said straight up, I don't care. The peanut gallery can say what they want. I don't care. I'm going to do what I feel is right and what I feel is comfortable, and they can think what they want. So I'm going to have that same scenario in my world. Got members of my peanut gallery that say the same thing. You know, Rob and Kate were dead set against it, but Rob has changed his tune. I'm pretty sure Kate won't. She says I deserve better. She herself doesn't know what better is. Just look at her. She's not good for Rob. So she's not going to approve, but I don't care. Rob was concerned that when we have our wedding, if Rob separates from Kate, that since Kate is a long-time friend of mine, we're talking 12 years or more, that I would invite Kate to the wedding, the ceremony, the little ceremony we're going to have out here in the front yard, possibly next fall during peak colors. I said, no, I won't do that. My loyalties are actually more towards Rob than Kate now. Why? Because I have learned what Kate is. I have learned what Kate has done to me. And Rob, except for one situation, hasn't done anything like that. Well, actually two. To betray me or anything like that. Kate has. So I told him, I said, no, she won't be there. I won't invite her. If you and her get back together again, then yeah, you're a couple, you're both invited. But if you separate, you'll be there, she won't. He says, yeah, that would be uncomfortable for me. I said, yeah, I know. That's why I wouldn't do it. He's going to be the best man at my wedding. AKA ceremony. So I'm not going to make him uncomfortable by inviting Kate as a bystander, and he's got to look at her and interact with her, and we got drama. No. Scrunchy doesn't know who she's going to have for a bridesmaid. She doesn't want to have anybody from work, even though she has some work friends. She don't want to have anybody from work involved, and I don't understand why, but she has her reasons. I don't know who she's going to have as her maid of honor or whatever it's called. But she's very excited for it. That's cool. Now, you know how my life works. I get up early in the morning. I was up at 4 this morning, and what do? I enjoy my morning pipe and some coffee, and I watch YouTube. My inbox, and this is weird because I didn't look for this information. I didn't type any of this into a search engine on YouTube searching for videos on this subject. My inbox has been getting hammered from religious pundits discussing two things. Number one, is she the right wife for you? Based on biblical definitions. How to know if she's God's choice for you, for your wife. Secondly, one that I'm right in the middle of watching right now. Is it a sin to get remarried after you've been divorced? Because in the Bible, and I can't quote scripture because I don't know the Bible very well, so that's why I rely on other people to do the work for me. In the Bible, it says that if you sleep with or you marry again after a divorce, you're committing adultery. Now, the rules are the outline in the scripture is very fuzzy and gray, and that's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. But in essence, when you get married to somebody, anytime, it's a holy union between you, them, and God. You become one. You and her become one in God's eyes. And what God has put together, let no man tear asunder, or essentially like that. But it's also written in the Bible, there's two instances where divorce is authorized. One is infidelity. That's what I did. Cheat on your spouse. God justifies divorce in that case. The other one is being yoked to a non-believer, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what I learned. If your partner is not walking the path of the straight and narrow, is not a believer, you are authorized to separate and allow God to present you with the correct wife or partner that is of the same belief you are. My ex-wife was not. She believed in God, the things like this, but she was not a born-again Christian. She was definitely not walking the path of the straight and narrow. Neither was I at the time. I was a raging backslider back then. I am trying to get my shit together. I'm trying to follow God's will and be a better Christian. Therefore, the selection of my next wife, I want to make sure it's right and it's pleasing to God. So I've been getting hammered with these videos. They just showed up. How to know if your wife, your future wife, is God's choice for you. And the one that I'm watching now, are you sinning if you get remarried after a divorce? Are you committing adultery? Because even though you physically separated with a divorce from your first wife, it's possible in God's eyes that you did that for unjustified reasons, which means you're not really divorced. Yep. So, that being what it is, I want to learn about it and get to the bottom of it so I don't consciously make a mistake and sin and do something that's not pleasing to God due to ignorance. The truth is out there. It's my responsibility to know the truth. Yes. So, a couple of the people that were talking about this subject, as far as, advisors, were indicating that if you are contemplating a person for your future wife, you will have good feelings about the situation. You will be compatible. She will be respectful and humble and allow you to lead and be the king, and she will be submissive and be the queen, based on scriptures that outline the different roles between a man and a woman when they get married. Woman was created from the rib of man, therefore she's not an equal. I'm diving into a rabbit hole here, so I'm not gonna elaborate, but it's all outlined in the Bible. But anyway, if you're contemplating somebody for marriage, how you feel about that situation, if there's any red flags, if you feel uncomfortable, if something feels off, but then you supersede those feelings with your own fallible mind and logic. You find yourself justifying the marriage, um, overlooking red flags, whether it's compatibility, um, attitude, um, how she treats you as far as respect, things like that. If you find yourself convincing yourself that it's a good deal, even though she's like this, or that has happened, or she's doing this, then you are justifying it in your head, yourself, as a mortal human being. If it just feels right all the way around, based on her behaviors and her conversations and her attitude towards you and towards the situation, then there's a good chance it's God speaking to you saying, this is the person I've chosen for you. Seize the opportunity. So, all this stuff showing up in my inbox this morning and yesterday. Oh boy. And I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for advice, biblical advice, as to whether I'm making a good decision or not. So there's food for thought. But so far, got some geese out in the lake. So far, it's working to my advantage. It's correlating with what I've been thinking in my head on making this big decision. Yeah. Yep. So, I feel good about it. I don't have any qualms about it. We've discussed it as to how we're going to handle situations in the future so that she doesn't go off the reservation again for trivial little shit. We've agreed, both of us have agreed to make personality and character trait changes to ourselves, to work on that so that we are more cohesive in the relationship in the future. I don't have any negative feelings about the situation. Whereas, with people in my past, I have. Alarm bells have been going off in my soul that something's not right, something's wrong, this person's not the one. I found myself overlooking their flaws, their sinful tendencies, their negative attributes, things like that, trying to justify marrying them or being with them and overlooking those things. I don't have any of that with Scrunch. Nope. Nope. Now, there's things I'd like to change about Scrunch due to my own selfish desires and wants, but it's trivial stuff, and I'm not going to push the issue. I mean, there's no need to. I can't change her and who she is and how she is to become my trophy wife. You know what I mean? You've always heard me talk about, oh, I want a trophy wife. That's not a realistic expectation. It's a wish on a wish list, but that's all it is, and it's superficial and it's trivial. What's important is the overall structure, compatibility, personality, attitude, communication skills, cohesiveness. Those are the foundations. All of the other things are just superficial things just to make me happier, but it's not important. The foundation is what's important. So I don't have any qualms about this. I don't have any red flags or warning signs going off in my head saying, don't pull the trigger, don't pull the trigger. Yeah. So I believe, my belief, especially after what I've been educated on this morning and yesterday, is that this is within God's favor and God will approve of the union. And what I got to get to the bottom of is my divorce. Was it justifiable in God's eyes? And I think it was. Even though my wife didn't cheat on me, I cheated on her. She didn't want the divorce, but it wasn't for the reasons, how do I say this? She wanted to stay married for the convenience of the marriage. Dual income, dual jobs, our current 20-some year life where we had accumulated possessions. Life was easy as a team. So that's why she wanted to stay married. I chose to walk away because I saw red flags that her gambling addiction, her our tendency to have grown apart and be living separate lives. We're just college roommates living together. I saw that not improving. I saw it actually getting worse. So I'm the one that chose to leave. In addition to the fact I was hot and heavy in a situationship with the diva, who I thought would be my next trophy wife, and I wanted to chase that. So that was wrong. Yeah, flagrantly wrong. But yeah, I was being led astray by the devil on that one. But anyway, yeah. Wow. Being yoked to a demon? Jeez. But in this case with Scrunch, it feels right. It feels good. It feels wholesome. It now feels solid. Now that she's promised to not go off the reservation over every little thing. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited. She's excited. I can't wait to be Mrs. Nelson. I can't wait to be your wife. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So that's that. Other than that, I really got nothing. So we're at 30 minutes. We'll keep it somewhat short. And next time I see you, we'll be at the trailer diving into this big project. And Lord willing, it goes well and goes off without a hitch. And I end up with a very satisfying result from installing this sink in the kitchen. So stand by.